Is Luo Kasabe and the larger Mambila actually Nilotic or Bantoid? Let's find out. 3 of the 4 language families of Africa are represented in Cameroon. That is Afro-Asiatic, Nilo-Saharan, and the Niger Kordofanian. Nilo-Saharan family is made of 2 languages. 2 other languages, that is Bung and Luo, are unclassified. The last of Cameroon's Luo language speakers. Did you know that the Luo language has been spoken as far west as Cameroon? The language is thought to have last been spoken in Cameroon in 1995. It would be interesting to trace this particular language and find out if there is a possible relationship with the other Luo languages of East Africa. If there is a relationship, what happened to the descendants of the Luo? Here's a section of Atta, Cameroon, in Adamawa region, where the last of the Luo speakers is said to have lived at the coordinates you can see on your screen. So a journey from Barel Ghazal to Atta Center in Cameroon would take approximately 609 hours, which would be roughly 25 days, on foot, in search of Cameroon Luo. A search of the Luo of Cameroon brought up Kasabe. And who are the Kasabe? Are they Luo? Did the Luo assimilate them? Or was it the other way around? So we took a look at this website, ethnologue.com. And when we searched for Luo, it came up as Cameroon Luo, and Ethnologue brought us Kasabe as Cameroon Luo, as you can see highlighted there. We tried a different website, Glottolog, and this is the breakdown it brought us of the Cameroonian Luo languages. You can do further research and kindly put your findings on the comment below so we can have a discussion. So here we have an excerpt from a book by Cornell, who seems to think the Luo is Kasabe. He says here, while linguistic evidence presented below indicates that Jerep and Kasabe, which is a Luo language, puts that in bracket. Other names for Kasabe, according to this website here, you can see it above, is Luo, and it's spoken in Cameroon. So I think that establishes that the Luo and Kasabe of Cameroon are interchangeable words for the same language. Is the Luo language of Cameroon the same as that spoken in East Africa? It would be interesting to find that out. Let's look at the similarities. Although descendants of Jerep and Luo now live at the foot of the Mambila escarpment on Tikar Plain, they still identify the villages in the mountains which they established, and one of the local mountains bears the names Tor Luo. Tor equals hill or mountain, which is the same as the Luo of East Africa, or rather Luo of Kenya. Kitmikai are celebrated Tor near Kisumu, and that's very interesting because now we look at the etymology of the word Tor that's used in English. Obviously cognate with Gaelic Tor, lofty hill, mound, Old Welsh, Tur, heap, pile, and perhaps ultimately with Latin turis, high structure. Also, see tower, which is a noun, but sources disagree on whether Celts borrowed it from the Anglo-Saxons or the other way around. Tor is thought to have its origin in the word Thur, similar to Celtic words thought to have their root words in Luo. With time, the term has been attributed to natural and man-made towers. Luo is among the oldest language. Luo, Dinka, Nuer, Acholi, Alur. They're among the original languages spoken on Earth. A closer look at the Luo of Cameroon language. Luo is classified under Mambila. Mambila is classified under Northern Bantoid. And here's a breakdown of the classification. You can pause and go through it. Is Luo Kasabe and the larger Mambila actually Nilotic or Bantoid? Let's find out. 3 of the 4 language families of Africa are represented in Cameroon. That is Afro-Asiatic, Nilo-Saharan, and the Niger Kordofanian. Nilo-Saharan family is made of 2 languages. 2 other languages, that is Bung and Luo, are unclassified. So the Luo of Cameroon is one of the unclassified languages. So let's dig deeper and find out more. The Mambila speakers refer to themselves as Junori. Ju, Jur, Jo are Nilotic terms that mean people of. A closer look at Mambila. Some of the Mambila dialects have Luo sounding names like Junare, Juba, Tongbo. So we'll do a more detailed analysis and we'll look at the Luo, Njerep, Kasabe, Bantu, and English. So Tho in Luo means language, Zu in Njerep, Lugar in Bantu, language in English. Nango, Lik in English, Naga in Njerep, Lamba in Bantu. Thur in Luo means hill, Tori, Tor or Toro in Njerep or Kasabe, Kilima or Kirima in Bantu, mountain, which means mountain or hill in English. Norgi means people in Njerep, G in Luo, Watu or Batu in Bantu, and people in English. Leb is the tongue in English, Liba or Ulimi in Bantu. Story time. A language dies only when the last person who speaks it dies. One day it's there, the next day it's gone. Here is how it happens. In the late 1995, a linguist, Bruce Connell, was doing some fieldwork in the Mambila region of Cameroon. He found a language called Kasabe, which no Westerner had studied before. It had just one speaker left, a man named Bogon. Connell had no time on that visit to find out much about the language, so he decided to return to Cameroon a year later. He arrived in mid-November, only to learn that Bogon had died on November 5th. On November 4th, Kasabe existed as one of the world's languages. On November 6th, it did not. The event might have caused a stir in Bogon's village. If you're the last person or last speaker of a language, you're often considered special in your community. You're a living monument to what the community once was. But outside the village, who knew or mourned the passing of what he stood for? And that leaves a lot to be desired. Do we tell our history? Do we teach our children our history? The last person to speak Luo language in Cameroon is confirmed to have been from Bamkin, or Kimi, which is a town in the division of Manyobanyo in Adamawa, a section of Ata. And you can see Kimi there, surrounded by Luo-sounding names like Nyakong and Nyamboya. After Bogon died on November 5th, 1995, Luo Kasabe must have merged with their neighbors and may be mixed with the present-day Mambila. In any event, it appears that the factors that led to the movements also precipitated the decimation of the peoples involved. ultimately resulting in considerable intermarriage and leaving uncertain their viability as linguistic groupings tenuous. Ethnic identity has survived somewhat longer, but it too is clearly not as strong as it once was, as the Njerep and Luo now see themselves as Mambila, meaning they did not see themselves as Mambila before. So assimilation must have taken place. Languages and cultures have disappeared into thin air. Was this a case of linguistic and cultural assimilation or annihilation? I leave this to you to do further research or support PK Travels, who does very good research on the ground. Please subscribe, like, and share this video, and you'll find the link in the description box. Thank you. See you in our next one.